Corba. Our lives simplified.
Well, small and medium-sized businesses are navigating unknown territories and asking new questions like, how can we keep ourselves, employees, and our customers safe and keep our businesses going? How can I kickstart this business in these challenging times? Well, help is finally here because First National Bank has just delivered the impossible. Whether you run a small to medium-sized business or a mid to large commercial business, you can enjoy 3 months free banking with any of our business check accounts when you switch and open a new business check account. Get access to trade services for global payments through our online banking enterprise. You can monitor your business activity in real time and reduce internal fraud with free InConnect Pro and email statements. Walk into any First National Bank branch today in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and Takrady, or call 02423 0242 435050 or toll free 0800 770522. You can also reach us via firstnationalbank.com.gh and our business relationship managers will come to you. First National Bank, how can we help you?
All right, what's in the papers?
Let me start with the Ghanaian Times and it's reporting
But
this.
before we get into the papers, we need to listen to something because President Mahama has been addressing, the NDC's professional forum. He's been talking about a few things. He's been answering some questions that many of us have asked previously. Listen to it.
Every region was asked to account for its performance in the 2020 elections, and they came with reports. You should have listened to some of the regional reports. There was one region, I won't mention which region it was. They said, some of our party agents were illiterate. They couldn't read or write. And then the chairman asked, he said, but who appointed them? Who made them party agents? So it's obvious that they themselves have started doing a review of what went right or what went wrong, what they did well, leading to a positive outcome in the region, and what they could have done better that led to, a negative outcome. You have the qualifications to be presiding officers and other electoral officers. And our opponents have taken advantage of it. So you find that when the EC advertises, many of their people apply to become presiding officers. And so they are the electoral officers. And of course, you know what kind of advantages that can give them. And so we need to get more of our members, including Pro Forum, our student movement, TAIN, and all of them, to get involved in becoming party agents at the polling station and branch levels. But even if you don't live in the community and you are there, you know what to do to match the biometric numbers with the ballots in the ballot box. Nobody can come and stuff ballots or impersonate somebody.
Well, there you go. Looking to the future, right? Seeking to reform the way they do elections in the NDC. But interesting comments from the former president, right?
Yes, I agree, except that I feel, in all honesty, this is a conversation we started having in 2000. Way back 2004, there was also improvements in political parties insisting that a certain quality of people are required. Remember what happened in the 2012 petition? Most of these political parties also agreed that some of the things that are happening and the pink sheets they found could have been dictated by their agents if they were educated enough, if they understood it properly. And because I knew how the election was run in 2012, I would agree that it surprised me that 2 elections later, we are still having this conversation about the quality of the agents. To be fair, some of the agents, it's as if a certain branch or constituency guy picked up people from anywhere. Some of the agents are wooed away with money. Sometimes they leave the police station completely, go and look for food. Others also abandon completely the process. I recall in the year 2008, the NPP shipped people and they met at Legon to voter region and other places, specifically from campus, being TESCON members, educated university students. I thought that the political parties have learned a lot from that because the agent is perhaps your most important person on the ground. If there's a problem on the ground, nothing else will work for you. And I feel it's belated though, but it's not too late going into the future. How on earth could you go into an election with subpar primary officers who would ensure that your votes are counted properly? How on earth is that even possible? I cannot understand because we've gone through this over and over again. So if an identification that that's a problem, maybe going forward they have to fix it because other parties started fixing this long time ago. And I actually think that sometimes they select places Because, for example, for Ayers West and other places, they get the very best of their people to be there. I think in some remote areas, that is where a certain candidate feels that I have to pay the agent, so let me give him money. And because of that, he chooses people around their family and all the other people to be there, just being there. And you don't need your... Yeah. It is true that...
Sami is asking a question that none of our audience can hear. Can you please switch on the microphone?
Okay.
Because it's an important question, Sami.
Well, but it's obvious Sami doesn't want his voice to be heard, so you could, repeat the question.
Okay,
Giving me work for no reason.
No.
Sami is saying that, look, the Kwesi Botwe report, didn't it raise all of these issues anyway?
It did. But I actually feel that for a very long time in the NDC, reorganization has been a problem. It is either they shelve the conversation, or some people think it's an attempt to remove the current leadership, so it's not being done properly. But this is reality. I cannot fathom how this was possible in the election just had. It demands a lot of soul searching, and I agree with the former president that he sits at the top. He cannot ensure that every single constituency gets the very best of agents. It is some people's responsibility to do this kind of work. And they've just failed the structures of the party in a way that is so monumental that you cannot understand how it is possible. Because, see, the ballot accounting sheet, it requires a lot of scrutiny to get it right.
Yes.
It has a lot of spaces that if you don't take care, you may not be able to get the differences or understand how it's supposed to be. So if the AC, I remember some years ago, the AC was even training party agents. Were these people also trained as part of the agents who were supposed to be recruited?
So this is a challenge. This is a challenge. And, during the 2013 election petition, Dr. Charles Rekuwebe at the time talked about how, the NDC were more prepared for the election because they had trained their agents. He complained about how the NPP trained their agents 2 or 3 days before the elections, and he felt that was not the best. Look, in fact, as far back as 2000, during the 2000 general elections, the NPP sent graduate students from the University of Ghana. They sent agents from Accra. I was in Hoa at the time, to come to the Volta region and get to some of the polling stations. They didn't use indigents. They brought persons from Accra. In 2012, after the NPP lost the election, in 2016, some of the party's officers in the UK came to Ghana, went to remote areas, and became party agents. In 2008, you remember Nana Knudi Ajman-Rawlings was a party agent?
Yeah.
So it's obvious that whenever a political party takes these things very serious,
it yields results.
It yields results. Because we've talked about elections being won at the polling station. If elections are won at the polling station, why don't you concentrate on that? And how come? I am surprised that the chairman is just asking who appointed them. Now, if it is proven that these persons appointed people to go to, polling agents who could not read and write, so what were they going to do there? So, for instance, if they write a certain number and say, your agent got this, what are you going to do?
How did they detect the errors?
How is that person, for instance, going to transmit the results to the party's headquarters? And I see here that John Mahama, there's been lots of concerns, and he's answering some of the questions subtly. He's just telling you, well, the party is actually doing many of the things you're asking for because, there are reports from all the regions, and these reports have come to us. Some have raised issues about having agents who were not literate. But the point is, whoever supervised that is shown you clearly that person does not qualify to be a leader the next time.
Or have the interest of the party
Exactly,
at the lowest level.
Exactly,
because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to have somebody who cannot read and write, and that person is expected to, transmit results to the party's National Coalition Center. Because if you want to win elections, you need to gather results from all the polling stations.
Yes.
This is a poverty problem, if you ask me. It's a poverty problem because these people are being given these positions for whatever little allowance or whatever it is that comes with it. Okay, they are being given these positions so that they can also feel like no matter who they are being considered for something that will, they are being given a post.
That they are part of the system.
Right? Whatever little thing it comes with. And that's why I'm saying it's a poverty problem. Okay? Because they have as the party, they have sought to fulfill the need, okay, of their followers' desire to be recognized over the need of their party system to work.
Let me give you one instance. Ideally, the person who's supposed to be a perfect agent is that educated guy who was there during the registration.
Yes.
Who went there through the verification and actually went there finally. So registration, they get copies of the sheets for every day. So they know the people who registered. Because they sit through the entire, even 40 days, they know the people who registered.
Yes.
When they are there for verification, they know the people who came to make changes to their names.
That's
They
right.
also finally get to be the ones there. So they also live in the community. So if I live there, I know that you cannot tell me that you are in this constituency or this police station when that is supposed to be a different one.
Now, here's the thing: the party would send somebody for the registration.
Registration,
wouldn't they?
yeah.
They'll send somebody for the
Yeah.
verification.
In
Will
the
it be
name of
the s-
participation.
Will it be the same person?
Mostly no.
Okay. And then on the election day, they'll send
Somebody else.
All right. So this is the thing: the party is participating in all of these important steps, but they are doing it in a way that satisfies the desires of individuals at that level, rather than satisfying the
collective
purpose
aim,
of the
yeah.
party.
Yes, you see, Kojo, and that point you
and,
make.
and it's a poverty
Yes,
problem.
yeah, but you see that point you make. I remember in 2012 in a certain constituency. Now, the member of parliament for that constituency had agents, and he picked intel that his agents had been compromised. You know what he did? He came and said, well, I'm going to change you guys.
Yeah.
He already submitted, it was a day to the election. And he said, I'm going to change you guys. He was told, well, you can't do this. He says, well, but I want to change them. They are my agents, and I want to change them. These guys said, no. You know what he did? He said, okay, you know what? I'm going to pay you 100 cities if you become my agent, right? Take it. Go. Take it. Go. Take it. Go. The point is, when it comes to being a party agent, it is an intellectual process.
That's true.
It is not reserved for the macho man. So
I
do
agree
not
with
think that the guy who makes the most noise in the ward or branch
Yes.
is the one that represents the party. Because when it becomes critical, you must quote laws to support the thing that the points you're making. So if you're supposed to make reference to electoral laws, for instance, you go and call somebody to come and make reference to the electoral laws for you. Political parties must appreciate this. And, you know, in Ghana's democracy or political dispensation, the minority parties, sorry I have to use that word, but they actually agree that with the NPP and NDC around, nobody will steal their votes.
Because they know these guys are
These
going to
guys
be very vigilant.
Are very vigilant. So I'm surprised this is coming out at this point, but I'm just hoping that, like the NPP learned from their mistakes of 2012, the NDC would learn from their mistakes of 2020. But the NDC did it well in 2012, and so I'm surprised they have to go back in 2020.
I actually think there's the feeling about when you are in opposition. When you are in opposition, sometimes resources are limited, and even how people want to work for you is also limited. The thinking going forward should be, how do we attract the very best of our own to do this job for us in a way that will make it work well, right from the police station through to the constituency level? Because you remember, people did not even know that you can only demand recount only twice, or the next time you have to push it to the collation center at the police station. Some of them did not know. It became a big battle. Even agents, not even agents, candidates were out there fighting that they needed to recount the ballot at the police station several times. And it was surprising. It just showed that there's a depth of knowledge when it comes to our appreciation of the general principles and the rules that we use for our elections. And the parties, instead of concentrating on just get anybody on board, should get people educated enough to sometimes go through this process. And if a party really wants to do so, I'm convinced they can get numbers and people to do that. Except that mostly the favoritism and the other isms make it difficult for them to
but,
recruit the very best of their own.
Let me end on this note that political parties are such that giving the chance, if I can influence persons in another party, I will do so.
Yeah.
And so these persons must be looked for
Yeah.
and dealt with because they clearly may have shown that they do not have the party's interest. All right, so I think we need to go for the BBC News right now. But before we do that, let me just tell you that the receiver wishes to once again notify the general public, especially persons and institutions that have outstanding loan obligations to these resolved companies to visit any of the maintained branches of these institutions for the repayment of their outstanding loans. And borrowers may also settle their outstanding obligations through the receiver's designated representatives, agents who are authorized to do so. If unsure of these designated persons or agents, please call the receiver's call center on 0242 439441 for confirmation. And borrowers are to note that the receiver will continue to accrue interest on all their outstanding loan obligations should they fail to pay or reach a settlement agreement with the receiver. For further information on the loan repayments, please call 0242 439441 or 0302 960208 or send an email to projectdomino.loans@gmail.com for the microfinance company, or Project Blue Moon Loans at gmail.com for the savings and loans and finance house company. You may write to the receiver, 54 Olusegun Obasanjo Highway, opposite Accra Girls Senior High School, PMB CT 42, Cantonments, Accra, Ghana.
All right. Well, listen, let's move straight to the BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical